Play tonight.
Okay, so here we have the Bucks versus the Detroit Pistons. So if you're new to this series that I am running right now, we are running my predictions for the first round of the NBA playoffs. So first we're going to start off with just a screen and roll for Antetokounmpo. We're going to get Lopez in for what should have been a nice easy layup, but definitely could not have been because somehow he missed.
In this day and age, based on the athleticism.
So what we're going to do is basically talk about the teams, which
strength training to another level to play today.
Which is Detroit versus.
I
can't do anything. Just jack up a three. Okay, that works. But Detroit is a very good team. They have some really good post players. They have some mediocre guards. And then against Milwaukee, they just have some. Milwaukee's like they are the number one team in the league due to their record, but they are one of the best. They have Antetokounmpo, who is basically an all-around player in a center's body. If you are a basketball player, definitely mold your game around his, because, well, like you just seen there, he can run the floor, he can do everything. Quite a few years ago when I was a player, they were talking about all-around type players. There was no such thing as that back then. And then when I started coaching, they were really talking about that here in Canada. That was kind of our goal, is to create an all-around player, a player who could play anywhere from 1 to 5. And it's happening. Giannis is a great example. Pascal Siakam is a great example on the Raptors. And this is what the future of basketball probably is going to look like. We're up by 9 because of Giannis. He is an amazing player. This is why, in my opinion, they're going to make the Eastern Finals. They're going to be probably meeting up with the Raptors in the Eastern Finals because it looks like the Raptors will probably have a very easy job at getting there. They don't have all that many great teams faced up against them.
Non-factor. Very surprising he missed it.
Kicks it down to Middleton. Outside, Antetokounmpo.
Now he does shoot threes as well, and like it's
for the Detroit Pistons.
It's just amazing, like how good he is.
For 3, Middleton. Detroit with the.
Now we are jacking up some threes just because they're open. They're not necessarily the type of player that you'd want to have the 3 being taken by them, but we're up by 9. Now that they've scored finally, we might have to run an actual offense, but.
Passes it to Lopez. Outside for Bledsoe.
There really isn't that much that Detroit can do against Milwaukee. In my bracket, I have Milwaukee winning 4 out of 5 games.
Working the ball around now.
And if you don't know, if you haven't seen my prior videos, up here in Canada, TSN, which is our version of ESPN, is running a bracket challenge, and the winner has $1 million, or will get $1 million. Of course, my name is in there. I have the Bucks making it all the way to the Eastern Finals and losing to the Raptors in 7 games. Of course, I'm a Raptors fan, so I'd like to see that happen.
How about the fact defensively they're getting that backboard and getting out in transition, especially in this first half.
But the Raptors have a lot of pieces that can battle up against Milwaukee.
A legit MVP contender.
No doubt about it.
But we're not talking about the Raptors right now. We're talking about Detroit. And Detroit definitely does not. They do not have the pieces to battle up against neither Toronto or Milwaukee. Blake Griffin is a really good player, but he needs to be paired with a really good point guard, or else you're not getting the full effort or the full ability
It's Antetokounmpo on the wing
out of Blake Griffin.
Off target there, that would have pushed the lead to double digits.
And I thought for sure Antetokounmpo was going to slam it on that guy's face, but that didn't happen. Now Blake Griffin's coming out of the game. They're putting in Thon Maker, which is surprising because he used to play on Milwaukee. Thon Maker, in my mind, is a Canadian as well, even though he's not. He's Australian, but he came to Canada to play high school basketball in Canada. So in my mind, he's Canadian because he played Canadian high school basketball. If you play the Canadian high school basketball, you're a Canadian in my mind. You're not Australian. I don't care what they say. It's technically not Australian either. So, from there, because he wasn't born in Australia, but from there, he is a really great player. He never went to college. He figured out a kind of a way of getting into the NBA without having to go to college or university, and it worked out for him. I'm surprised.
How do they fix that?
The problem is every team.
He was an international player, and because of that, he's able to get into the NBA without having to go to college or university. He just had to take a year off. And that's what he did.
6'9" or so, very versatile, able to shoot certainly.
I don't agree with it. I think he should have went to college. He would probably have been a better player in his first couple of years.
Well, you think about a guy like Tobias Harris, really solid, can do a little bit of everything. Kyle Kuzma, the outstanding first-year player, just finished his first year.
Look at that. Almost an N1.
Like Thaddeus Young, even though he's a lefty, good size, gets to the glass, puts it on the floor okay. But those would be Kyle.
And Sterling Brown would actually be a good player to have cutting towards the rim a lot. He is a very good free throw shooter as well.
Pistons trail by 9. 1:19 left to play here in the first.
That other Australian guy, the point guard, I can't remember his name, but he was always doing cheap shots, and he played for Milwaukee. I think it was last year. He was like their backup point guard. I'm so happy he is not on Milwaukee anymore. He is such a dirty player. I just wish that somebody would punch him in the face. Can't remember the guy's name though.
And that one clearly a foul. Gets the whistle and 2 shots coming up.
But he was just such a dirty player.
For Detroit, a lot of changes.
But as we can see here, Detroit has zero ability to beat Milwaukee. I wouldn't be surprised if Milwaukee took it in 4 games.
For the Pistons moving forward.
I wouldn't be surprised if Toronto took the Magic in 4 games.
For 2 at the line. On offense, here are the Bucks. They're on a 13-5 run.
We're going to run a little bit of a screen and roll action.
Hill dishes to Lopez. But Julia with
Of course, we don't know how to pass the ball. Come on, triple team.
But Julia the pass to Kennard. Smith outside.
You got to use that screen faster. If you're going to set a screen and roll, you have to use that screen really fast because the guy's just going to duck behind and know that guy is there.
That's how they're going to cut into this lead.
And Greg, a dunk like that is sure to give them a spark.
Which is a spark.
That's a foul.
Need, Kevin. They've got
That is 100% a foul. They are not calling fouls in these games at all.
Detroit making
The only fouls they seem to be calling are illegal screens.
We've got 22 seconds left here in the opening quarter. Here's Frazier.
Oh yeah.
Good with the little jumper in close.
Up by 8. 15 seconds left in the quarter.
In the first quarter on the inside.
Here's the
Oh, get out of here. That was a massive block.
nice awareness from him and a terrific rejection as well.
Out to the wing. Maker, no one around him.
I'm not too worried about Thon Maker hitting a three-point shot, to be brutally honest. Thon Maker has a lot of potential.
We'll be back in just
He is one of those players that you got to watch out for. Tall, lanky. If he can get his shot down
just trying to focus
and shooting and handles. Those are the two things that he needs. And if he can get those two things down, he is going to be a crazy good basketball player. It would have been like another Giannis. And imagine if they could have had that, if they kept him on Milwaukee. That would have been scary. What's scary, though, is Boucher and Siakam on the Raptors. Those two players. Siakam, we finally got to see how good he was this year. Now, if Boucher does what Siakam did this year next year, we're now having ourselves essentially two players who are very close to a Giannis Antetokounmpo type of player.
And Lopez did exactly what he had to there on that defensive stop. He just got right in his face.
And then if Siakam works out to be even stronger next year, like Giannis, you're now looking at a very scary lineup. You now have two forwards who can play any position.
And Pachulia pulls it down.
And now if the Toronto even keeps Kawhi Leonard, same thing, a guy who can guard any position. Scary. The Raptors are good. Milwaukee's good.
Gone here in the second quarter.
If Milwaukee builds up a couple of their rookies to be role players, it's going to be a very tough Eastern Conference next year.
He's moved into a nice situation this offseason. Atlanta in rebuild mode, and the Milwaukee Bucks heading in the other direction.
Oh yeah, I forgot he could shoot threes that well. Hill is a very good three-point shooter as well. So Milwaukee has quite a few different pieces that they can use to beat their opponent profusely.
Let's swing it over to David Aldridge.
The Pistons went for it last season, bringing in Blake Griffin and trading away picks and players. Didn't work out the way they wanted, but they are determined to make a go of it. They're in a brand new building, and they hope
that's a foul.
Moves in the future.
Like all the other games I've been posting recently, we're only going to play the first half. If you don't already know. Basically, the reason behind that is we have 8 videos to get through. I'm going to post over the next day and a half, mainly because of the NBA playoffs. It's there's 8 different rounds going, or 8 different series for the first round, and I'll be posting a video for each one. And these are my thoughts.
Drummond finds Jackson over Middleton, and the call on the shot that sends him to the line.
The next series is going to be Boston versus Indiana, and the last one we just did was Denver versus San Antonio. Now I played as Denver. Denver didn't do so well, but they have a very good bench, and if you haven't seen that series yet, my thoughts on that one was originally that San Antonio was going to get beat by Denver. Of course, I played as Denver and we lost, but what we're looking at is
a double team Bledsoe. Here's Antetokounmpo, and a great assist by Bledsoe.
Is the fact that Denver has a very good bench, better than I remembered. I don't really watch that many Denver games, and I forgot that they had Isaiah Thomas coming off the bench. So what I think that what's going to happen in that series is that San Antonio is going to come out to a quick lead in each of their games, and Denver is going to pull back that lead and win the game. Now, what's going to happen in this series, again, probably Milwaukee is going to just tear Detroit apart. And that's what we've been doing in this game, and that's what's going to be happening in real life.
You know, I don't think it's ever too late to make a sweet dime. I mean, even if you're halfway through your shot, you might find a better one.
Haven't really been using Giannis all that much.
In 2017, it was the opening of their new state-of-the-art.
Or really Ilyasova, but he should have had that dunk.
Inaugurated their new home arena.
Galloway dishes to Jackson. And goaltending is going to be the call.
Now they're taking a little bit of a run, so we need to feed it to Giannis, and we just need to have him drive. It's quite simple to win with Milwaukee.
That's how they saw it.
Just give it to Giannis, and let him drive.
It's Antetokounmpo on the wing, defended by Griffin. A little shot fake there, got the D.
It's quite easy to win with Milwaukee. Just give it to Giannis, and he's going to take care of the whole game.
Definitely one of the reasons they're up.
But they have a deep team, so if he gets in foul trouble like he is right now, you can feed it to the rest of your team.
And Blake Griffin said early in his career he used to rely on his athleticism to get by. He said the problem was every season he'd be worn out by February. So diversifying his offensive game has helped him to kind of withstand.
Now, the one thing that
long NBA season
you might have seen is auto subs. The reason why I do auto subs is for when I don't want to deal with substitutions.
Here's Antetokounmpo.
But also, as a head coach in the past, I just hate dealing with substitutions. So I'm no longer dealing with substitutions as a coach, because you don't want to have parents complaining about their kids not having time. Let that argument and that headache happen to the assistant coach. Let him have fun with them.
He's perfect from the line this time. Closing in on 4 minutes played here in the second quarter. Tough break there, shot after shot. They couldn't get anything to.
Well, he had 2 open passes, and
Greg, you look at a lot of the
he didn't take either one of them. And that's a fantastic double team. That's what you want when a double team happens.
Even Dwight Howard.
Yeah, I think Griffin could
Trap him in the corner and have him throw it away.
to get over 200 dunks in a season. Now less than half that number. But the trade-off hopefully will be longevity and an increased skill set.
Antetokounmpo can't get that one to fall.
That's a shot he's got to hit. You don't get many looks better from that range.
Count that one.
It was all about.
We're giving him a little bit of a run, but that's okay. We're up by 5.
Take long to see.
We're going to take Giannis with a screen, and he's going to roll and get a huge and one dunk. Oh, yeah.
Would not be surprised to see them double him up here. And
Now we're going to get some free throws.
Antetokounmpo, he keeps a laser focus. Basketball and his
He
family
should have scored that. Whatever. He is on fire right now. That's no surprise.
Check in, and the foul called on Blake Griffin. That's foul number 2 for him.
Blake Griffin's almost in foul trouble, but not really, because we're only playing until halftime.
Bucks leading by 7. And some have even compared Giannis to Kobe Bryant for his single-minded dedication, Greg, to improvement.
Oh, ho, ho, ho. See what happens when you have a good player catch on fire?
on the town or schmoozing with other stars. He's content to save outside for.
They can't stop
His
Giannis.
playing days are done.
And the Pistons decide to take their first timeout right here.
And when you take a look at that shot chart, the amount of misses lately, really unbelievable.
When you get a really good player who's strong, who's able to slash and shoot and everything, it's very dangerous
Play in the first half.
when you're on the defensive end.
Good. Maybe that'll get him going after a 2-for-6 start.
He doesn't do some of the damage that other big men do on the perimeter, but inside, Drummond's got just as much game as anybody.
There's another big shot for you.
Gets to a spot and scores efficiently.
Talk about being on fire.
They shoot again. Basket is
You don't need to foul him.
one more at the line.
Up by 7, 50 seconds left. I hope that you have enjoyed today's video so far. We've pretty well won this game unless something happens. But other than that, we've pretty well won this game.
Any big man has the combination of strength, speed, and hops that Drummond has, not to mention his length.
Yeah, we'll draw a foul. We should have just went up for a jump shot, but we didn't.
You know, it's so rare to see a player who
Giannis has 22 points tonight.
dramatically
22 after that free throw.
free throw percentage. But that's exactly what Andre Drummond did last season, taking it from the 30s.
He has 2/3 of the team's points. He's going to get a big dunk possibly here. Nope.
That's the kind of D
Why are we fouling? We don't need to. We're up by 7.
over.
The Pistons have made 2/3 of their free throws tonight.
If you have made it to this point in the video and you're just trying to figure out who's going to win, it's going to be Milwaukee.
Just a much better job.
This last 50 seconds has taken a heck of a lot longer than I thought it was going to take.
Attempt in the first.
And we've basically won the game.
Right now. George Hill's checked in for Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Tim Frazier subbed in for Eric Bledsoe.
We're going to set a screen.
Separated by less than 6 seconds. For 3, Hill. Rebounded by the Pistons.
And we've got the win.
Rebounds here tonight. So active.
There's nothing else I can say. We have the win.
The pass to Smith. It's stolen by Frazier.
And we're going to finish
on the break
with what I thought was going to be a big dunk, but it's not. And the game is over. We have won. I'll see you guys again in our next video, which is going to be Boston versus Indiana.